that is just an evergreen or just a sleigh and just make it really come to life.
Yes.
And make it really a wonderful white Christmas for everybody. Shirley Bob Show. I love
I know.
this.
It's fun, guys.
You see these all over the place at a store and you kind of go, eh.
They are everywhere and they're so affordable, which is great.
Right.
I mean, I love that things are affordable, but here's
what you've done with this is remarkable.
You've made it, you really elevated
Take a look. Yeah, the design is there. It's just a bunch of evergreens and some berries, and most of these cuttings are very common. You probably have them in your backyard.
Now, you say the evergreen is important to use when you're putting something together like this. Why so?
Well, you know, an evergreen tree or an evergreen shrub is a plant like a pine or a cedar or a juniper. They're always green.
Right.
Even through the winter when it's snowing and there's nothing alive, it's alive. And so it's very accessible and easy
low
to
maintenance.
Low maintenance. You can cut them and use them in arrangements and they will stay looking good.
Okay, so we need a sled.
Yes.
And we need a reindeer and we need some evergreen. What else do we need?
Well, one of the things that's most important is how you're going to keep your greens upright. And so I'm using floral foam. As you can see here, I have two different types.
Okay.
What are the two different types?
Well, this one is a wet floral foam that you submerge in water till it soaks. And this one's a dry one. It's just to keep things supported. Now,
which would you use for which?
Well, okay. Because we're in dry LA, we're going to use a wet foam because what that's going to do, it's going to impart a little bit of moisture to the cuttings so that it stays fresher longer. But you know, if you're living in an area that gets lots of snow or rain, you really don't have to worry about that. You can use the dry. And so it works very, very well. And actually, I like the way we put this under cover.
Right.
It's probably the best in a patio or porch.
Interesting. Okay. So how did you make that look like that?
All right.
That's what we want to learn.
But you know what? It's great. It's
if you say magic wand, I'm not
it's
going to.
not a magic. Well, actually, it took some pruners, but that's not too magical. What's really neat is I just grabbed some of the evergreens. I want you to take a look at the finished one. Okay. Now, towards the front, you see that we have some cascading cedar. And if you take a look at here, I have my unfinished sleigh, and the reason why I selected the cedar is because it's going to weep and cover this area here where the foam is.
Oh, look at
this
that.
is our support base.
Yes.
So that's where we're putting our foam. So we want to make sure that we're going to add that. Now, then take a look again at the sample there. Towards the back, the tail end of the sleigh, I have some fur. Now, that is just something to soften the back, because I want you guys to understand, why are we using these types of plants? So there's a purpose. So that one is just upright. And then towards the middle, that's where the fun begins. Take a look at those beautiful ilex or holly berries.
Those are beautiful.
And they come in every color. I mean, some people have red, we have orange, and then we also have some birch and magnolia leaves. Look at the two-tone magnolia leaves there that are absolutely gorgeous.
Can we start doing this?
Yeah, let's start doing it now that you know what we're using. So grab a handful of the weeping cedar.
So this on the
on both sides. So what Debbie and I are going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put them right.
And I'm going to jump in with a couple of questions while you're doing this.
Go ahead.
Just to reiterate, we're adding this greenery to disguise the edge so we don't see the foam.
Right.
And Debbie's doing her part to
give you a few.
Try to do that.
Oh, she's doing a good job.
Listen, I'm not doing that bad of a job. Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Okay, so that goes in.
Yes.
And then we're going to put in
you want to grab
the other green. What is this called?
That is the noble fir.
The noble. Oh, well, then you would need somebody noble.
Nobility.
Yes.
Put it in.
Well, you're appropriate. Come on, put it right here.
So
your royal styness.
And go ahead and just put it right into the foam. Now, something that I want you guys to also be considerate of. Now, Debbie, bless her heart, put one of the cedar spikes in, but it was facing me.
So I did it backwards, so that's actually a good thing.
Always take a look at where it drapes, how it drapes.
Make sure they drape out.
Right. And, you know, some of you may wonder, well, Shirley, how come you're not using soil?
Why aren't you using soil?
Well, there's a reason. Number one, these are not live plants. Okay, so we're not trying to grow them. We're trying to keep them alive, but soil is really heavy. Right. And this sleigh and a lot of the affordable sleighs, they're not that strong. So the foam is perfect for it. So as you can see, we're just adding some more of our magnolia leaves.
That really does hide.
And by the way, when you're doing this, we're assuming this is going to be an outdoor piece.
Yes, yes.
If someone had a large, because this is a big display.
Right.
Could you do this inside? Could you keep it indoors?
Absolutely. As long as you're not damaging your floor. And when you're using foam, either dry or wet, you're very, very safe.
Yeah.
So it would be a beautiful display, but if you want the little reindeer here, you probably need a little space.
Now, Shirley, how long would something like this last?
Well, here's the thing. Because it's a cut arrangement, it's not, it doesn't have roots, it's not going to grow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This could probably look really fresh for about a month under cover. But a very important thing that I did, I used an anti-drying spray. This one is called Wilt Proof, and all I did was, before I even put these up, I conditioned all of them by saturating them. Let me see if I can get this open. My hand's slippery. I just saturate it like this, the front and back, and this is something you would use for also your Christmas tree. And that seals in the moisture so that moisture is not lost through these leaves, which is how things dry out. And it looks beautiful.
I would just like to
look
point out, we have been doing this for about 3 minutes.
Oh,
and
I'm talking, and I don't see the
great
beauty around me.
job.
And look.
This doesn't take a lot of...
Yes.
It doesn't take a lot of skill.
No, and look how simple it is. And now these are little birch branches, which are really, really pretty. It's just kind of a vertical accent.
Yeah.
And you know what? We could probably put a little more.
We could put some more evergreen stuff in the back.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's all up to you. Now take a look at the sample again. Fun touches. We have a little crest at the bottom where we have red pine cones, just as a little touch. And then we have the pretty little ribbon around. Is he?
Do you know what I'd like to show? I would like to show, so just so you guys can see what this looked like before and what the end product is. Look at what it looked like when she came in here this morning. And now look at the final product.
Custom.
That's really,
like, come on.
It makes it look so much more expensive.
And if you get these cuttings from your yard, it's not expensive. It just looks like it.
And by the way, because we did this in minutes,
Yeah.
I would like to say this is so easy, even Debbie can do it.
Ooh, Debbie is so.
When I'm in the
There it
kitchen,
is.
I usually say
There
this
you
is
go.
so easy. Mark
Mark
can
can
do it. Okay, touche, my friend.
I just want to
deserve
put that out there. I would also like to put this
deserve
out there. Shirley's design tips. And by the way, a lot of this is how you layer this, is what we talked about earlier. Those tips, DIY instructions will be laid out step by step, and we'll feature it in our Home and Family Christmas workbook. You'll be able to get that workbook absolutely free by downloading it by going to hallmarkchannel.com. Shirley, this thing came.
Isn't that fun?
And then the little bow goes on.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Shirley,
we're going
put it
on
right
to
here.
somebody who's often mistaken for Mariah Carey when you hear them singing.
Yeah.
Same person.
Yeah.
Kim.
Well, maybe I can, Debbie. When we come back, I'm going to solve a clothing problem we all face: static.